Okay, AVTPro, Advanced Visualization Technology Production. It's Alonzo Von 3, aka the homeless animator. Yes, I'm still out here, y'all. But hopefully things will turn around soon. And I want to thank everybody for their support. The support has been phenomenal. And if you'd like to donate, I'll put the links in the bottom and support me and to keep me going. Okay, just the thing about it, I've done a lot of things that have really helped me as a human being now. Getting medical support, which is something I kind of ignored for a long time. I went down the rabbit hole. Oh, sorry. I have the profuse running nose. Anyway, it's hay fever. So while I'm doing this, since I finally finished a video talking about subtext and scene subtext and character subtext, now and 10-second club, which is, I think that's my pet peeve, because when I was first learning to animate, I don't know how long ago, 20 years ago. I think my first character performance was 20 years ago. So when I was first learning to animate, it was the 10-second club back then. Now I think it's 11-second club. And what I did was I listened to the clip. They say, listen to the clip. Everything everybody teaches you, listen to the clip 1,000 million times until your brain goes, oh, and you don't know what to do. And then you practice all these gestures and you're like, which is the right one? How are you supposed to know? I'm talking about for beginning animators. Now, if you've done this and you're familiar with it, you're probably all right. But all of that, and I still felt that way about it. I was like, you listen to it, what are you looking for? Until I started writing. As soon as I started writing, it's like, I know what has to happen in the narrative of the story, so I know what the character is doing when. I know why the character is doing. I know how the character feels. I know what the character is thinking. I know a bit about the character's personality, and so with that, I pretty much can get the scene. And the scene, I know what's going on in the scene. Is the character happy in the scene? Is he sad in the scene? Is he angry in the scene? Is he confused in the scene? Is he pondering in the scene? Is he sick in the scene? Does he have a bad hay fever in the scene? Is he sleepy in the scene? So if I'm going to start a scene and the character is sleepy, the scene should start out like this. Or the character is like whatever, sleepy gesture. I seen one movie that this guy, I couldn't figure it out, and I haven't seen it because I didn't have it. I actually worked on the film. I did some graphics and some VFX. I'm not gonna name the name of the film, but there's one actor in the film that every time the camera hit him, it was just magic. And I couldn't figure it out. I haven't seen it. I would love to see it, but I never got a copy of it. But this actor, every time the camera hit him, it was like, why is it so good? Why is it so perfect? Why does he read so well? This is a problem. And I see a lot of stuff, so I'm going to just go in on it. Like Instagram. Like, when you ever see somebody about to do a walk video, let me see you walk. And they start off standing still, right? In any kind of motion, you always, on a scene, you start on the action. Matter of fact, you should start a scene while it's already halfway done. And then you'll get the energy, the emotion of what is actually, you get the first pose. And that first pose is what is going to sell the scene. You read the scene, you take the first pose. If I started to pose like this, as soon as the camera hit it, you're already reading that. Sorry. I should sneeze and really gross you out. But anyway, so you'll read it. If the first pose is like this, or thinking, or something like that, you're already reading it. You're already expecting what's going to come on. That's how we do as humans. We read the scenes. They say don't judge. We judge every microsecond. Okay, you have to, in order to stay alive. If I come at you like this with a knife or something, you know what's going to happen. To cover yourself, right? If I'm like this, you'll know to cover yourself. So sorry. So, in the 10-second club, let me jump back to that. You're gonna have to. You want to get an idea of what the scene starts off, the general overscope of the scene, and then you want to break it down. So now I'm getting to where I want to. I didn't expect to do it, but I'm finally getting to where I want to go. And even with an animation, like I showed with the key poses, like you have the first pose, then the next pose. So if you have a scene that is 10 seconds long, you can say, well, what's the high point of the beginning? You can do the end pose, and you can do the middle. And so you start to, and then you can subdivide that between the beginning and the middle, and then you got the next pose, and then between the middle and the end. And that's with everything. Everything from acting to film to story writing to tracking, motion tracking. You put a key in the beginning, and some people say in writing a story, write the end before you write the beginning, because then that gives you a way to, target and stay on track. So if you had the end here, and you know how it's going to end, that's another thing. I'll get to that, because that you don't just think of the end. I know you're like, well, how do I know the end? But if you just start in the middle of a scene and you say, okay, well, this is what happens in the beginning. You got to know the character. You got to know structurally what the character is going. And there's a structure to a story. So a structure to a story is what? 3 acts. So you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. What's happening in the middle? There's some scenes that you're going to be able to visualize in your mind. Where does that go? Put that on the timeline. And then what happens after that? Or let's say you start here in a particular scene. You put this, then put the middle. If you're tracking, it's like everything. I wanted to name this video the unified law of subdivision. It's how they say start with a broad stroke. So you do one big broad stroke. Then you subdivide it, subdivide it, subdivide it, and subdivide it. You don't eat the whole thing at once. Like a big pie, a pizza pie. You cut it in slices. You eat one slice at a time. And you don't try to eat them all at the same time. So that's like, even if you're motion tracking, you actually, you put a key in the beginning, you put a key at the end, then you put it on in the center, and then you go in the center of that, and then the center of that, center of that. You keep subdividing it down. So if you do like a motion, you can do the same thing. You can put the beginning key, the main key of the scene, and then how it ends here, and then the middle. So even if you're doing a simple head turn, and he's going to look from there to there, you do the beginning, and then the end, and then you can do the middle, which, if you know about arcs and things like that, you might do it this way or that way, or what they call a breakdown pose. How does it get from there to there? That's when the creativity comes. And so he might go like this, and so the head goes down, or it might go like this, or so the head goes up. So wherever you put it determines how that motion is. So it's always subdividing. Whenever you break down any scene, you can look at it, or any project, or anything, is you break it down and subdivide it. You keep subdividing it. So when I was talking about key poses and how you do control your graphs, you start with one pose, and then, let's say he's gonna grab a ball and he's gonna throw it, and then do it. So you'll have the beginning pose, then you do the next pose, which is the extreme of the action, or maybe the anticipation, and then the throw. And so if you do every single one, you can break each one down to be part of the motion. Now, I said that you can do almost any motion in about 5 poses. So if you have this, and then you do this, that's the second, and then that's the throw, that's 3. And then the settle in, settle back, that's 4. And then the anticipation. So beginning, anticipation, then back. So boom, like boom, anticipation and settle back. That's 5 poses. Now, if you start subdividing those 5 poses, then you can get more nuanced animation. And so instead of your keys going like this, overshoot, back, that, and that, you start to curve it a little bit on the front, slide it down a little, make it sharper at that end. So it's really the same thing. So I wanted to explain that, the rule of what I call the unified rule of subdivision. Everything from tracking, everything that I've come across that I usually use is usually you want to just go, they say broad strokes, and then like that. But what you need to know is what the next one, what's the purpose of the next one. So when you say, oh, that's the beginning pose, that's the anticipation pose, that's the breakdown, and then that's the overshoot, they each have a purpose. So when you apply that, and then you can add in, let's say, inertia. So when it goes from the beginning to subdivide to anticipation, you can like favor the key closer to this one, or drag it back to the other one, and drag it back. So when it goes back for the middle pose, and drag it back like that, drag that part that way, then you start to have more subtle, more fluid motion. So it's like you had the main keys, beginning, anticipation, the middle, overshoot, and settle. Then you start going in between those and start adding drag. So it's like beginning, anticipate, back, and then as it goes away, drag it back here, divide that one, drag it back, like, and just divide right in the middle between the two, But if you want to add in inertia, then you want to have it closer to the beginning, closer to the end, and so that it'll have a sense of energy that starts up, speeds up, accelerates, and settles down. So that's a general idea of this subdividing. You can do most things subdivide. A story you can subdivide. An animation you can subdivide. Tracking you can subdivide. Most projects you can break down. A bigger story, beginning, middle, and end. And then in those you have midpoint plot points, twist points, different subdivision, break into act 1. It subdivides more and more, and that's story structure. And so you can have a very controlled way and a very manageable way of handling your project. So that's some real meat there to chew on. That's somewhere. I don't chew on it with my teeth, but that's some real pudding to suck down. Anyway, So I got a few seconds. So there it is. You want to support me? Basically, again, I'm trying to give you things that just made me take so long, and it made it very difficult. And so I wanted to share those key things with you to help you get through it. How you doing? All right. So I just wanted to share those key things with you to help you get through it. So, oh man, sorry, I gotta finish this vlog. Anyway, so there you have it. So, God bless you all. Again, if you want to support me, want more of these videos, basically, again, like I was saying, I'm just trying to think things that were really hard for me to grasp, that if I could just give you the nougat, the kernel, the key on it, you know, the real breakdown on it, where it unifies and the core of it, then there you go. God bless you all. Bye now.